So guys, we're going to get right into it here. Frank McChrystal has announced that this is his final season after 31 years. So what do you think is next for the football club?
Well, I feel like he's had a great career here, 31 seasons, but I think with how young the team is this year, I think it's important that you build from the ground up. You gotta rebuild the team. You got a very young team right now. I would suggest maybe hiring one of the coordinators, and so you're not only you're building your team, but you're building your coaching staff, and that they can grow together. I think that's important for a very young team.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. The Rams are a really young football club, and they're essentially rebuilding because they need to rebuild. They haven't been good for a long time. So honestly, that's exactly what they need to do, is totally start over.
Yeah, I'm new to the school, so I'm not really familiar with the situation that the Rams are in, but I'm sure they got more than qualified people to step in and take over and keep going from where they left off.
I think we've overlooked the completely obvious. What's next for the team is they get a new coach. After that, it'll just be sort of hashing out coaching styles with players, and hopefully the Rams can get it together in time for next season.
For U of R women's athletics, in your opinion, what team do you think is going to do the best this season?
I think just because the end of the season they had last year, that the women's hockey team, they had such a great run last year. They were within a goal of winning the Can West championship. So that question to me is pretty easy. They have a really good core, and I think that they can do really special things this year.
Cool.
Yeah, for me, I have the women's cross country team. I know a lot of these girls, and I have trained with them, and they're amazing athletes. I know exactly how good they are, and I know that they've improved so much this off season. They got a crazy training schedule. Just talking to Jessie Van Eaton a few weeks ago, and she's running like 70, 80K a week, which is ridiculous. But yeah, so her Avery Westberg's one of the best runners in Western Canada right now, and in Canada as well. So I've got really high hopes for those girls.
Am I allowed to say women's volleyball? Because if so, then I think I'm going to go with them.
Great choice.
Yeah, I'm going to jump in there on women's volleyball too. I think they got a great core and tons of leadership in that team, and they're just really good triers. They try very hard every time they're out on the court.
They're going for gold.
Okay, moving on to some more football news here. Kansas City Chiefs just released Weston Dressler. Do you think he's coming back? Rough Riders.
Yeah, I think he's going to come back. I think why change something that's worked so well? I mean, I think it's important that you go back to a place that you know really well. You're coming off of learning like a playbook in Kansas City, completely new playbook, right? In the NFL, things are a lot different there. Go back to what you know. Go back to a place that you've succeeded. One of the best receivers in all of the CFL, and you just know the place. You know the fans. You know the coaches. So I do think Weston Dressler will be back. It's unfortunate that he didn't make it in the NFL, but yeah.
Dressler's going to be back. It's pretty obvious in my opinion. He was best friends with Rob Bagg. He was really good friends with Durant, and it's familiar to him, right? I honestly think that the Rider fans will burn down Mosaic Stadium if he goes anywhere else. If he signs in Calgary, that everything's going to be burning in Regina, and people are going to be fighting in the streets, and it's just going to be a mess. Worst case scenario, he goes to Winnipeg, comes back and plays in the Labor Day Classic, and then I don't even want to know what happens after that. So.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's going to come back, but that's mostly just because I really want him to come back. I have no basis on my opinion on if he's coming back or not, so I just hope he does. Last time with Fantuz, that was a heartbreaker, but you know, it happens, and it could happen again.
Some good old-fashioned homerism.
Can I just be the obvious stick in the mud and ask, does it really matter if he comes back?
Oh, of course.
Yes, it does.
I mean,
Receiving
you know,
quarter.
Saskatchewan historically has spent way too much of their stock in veteran players that are nowhere near as good as they were if they come back, have serious injuries. You know, I mean, you can only rely on an old donkey for so long, and in CFL terms, Weston Dressler is an old donkey. What I think they should do is they should focus on the young players that are going to take the league to bigger and better places in the coming years.
He's younger than Durant.
Well,
You know,
and now you know my opinion of Jared Durant too. Oh.
I think you make
Tino
a-
did look good the other day. So
I think you do make a good point. I mean, you can't rush the guy back into something like this. He's been through an entire training camp, multiple preseason games in the NFL, and you can't just expect him to come back a week from now and play up to the standards that Western Wrestler's been able to play up for so many years. So you got to take it slowly.
Well, exactly. And I mean, you know, more than that, I mean, if he signs with the Rough Riders, he'll be welcomed back with open arms. If he signs with any other team, then he's going to get booed out of the stadium anywhere he goes.
There's a lot more pressure there.
Right, so,
Oh, yeah.
you know, Rider fans are merciless with their loyalty, I guess, to a player that they like. It's often more about the jersey than the player, I find.
Yeah, you've seen that happen. How many times? It won't be the last.
Paul McCallum.
Yeah, that one's probably the worst. Moving on to MLB. Sorry, I'm cutting you guys off there. But with the Blue Jays, do you think that they're going to end up in the postseason?
Not the way they're going right now. It's been almost pathetic the way they've been playing lately, and you know they're just not. There's not a chance right now. I don't feel.
I'm done watching baseball. The Red Sox had a horrible year. I just don't want to think about baseball.
Way to bring up the Red Sox and the Blue Jays question.
I just said I'm not going to watch baseball anymore. I'm just too heartbroken. John Lester left. What's the point? Jose Bautista's still going to scream and throw his bat and get kicked at a game. So
Blue Jays, though, how are we feeling? Otherwise, anyone.
I don't know. I think that this year might just need to be a wash, and before next season, what they have to do to get themselves back on track is they need Rush to write a really good theme song for them, and the whole team needs to start taking Rob Ford Super Happy Fun Go-Go Juice, and they'll get everything done forever.
And John Gibbons needs to be fired. He is not working for that team, and
they need to hire Rob Ford.
maybe that's the Rob's secret stuff in the water bottles.
I don't know. That you guys are right. The team's an absolute mess, not only in terms of the players that they have, but in terms of their management, and it's awful to watch them play. They played so well at the start of the season. Like, what the hell happened? I mean, I don't know. Injury bug has hit them. I don't know. They're just playing god awful.
It's the same old story since 1994. So
That's true.
Same story for Toronto's professional sports teams.
that's true.
Well, do you think in that note, then, maybe it's just a pressure that they're feeling from the fans,
Oh, it's
and you're not performing?
They knew what they were signing up for when they signed in Toronto. They knew what they were signing up for if they signed to play in Toronto for the Leafs. Like, you're starting to get more and more guys going back to their hometowns. It's getting really annoying listening to people talk about players going back to their hometowns, but really, in essence, you grow up watching a team like that. So that's what they need to do. Brett Lowry is the hardest working player in baseball. So
Really? He works so hard because he's always coming back from injuries.
Yeah,
Rehab's
didn't he
hard
have
work
like
for anybody.
one at bat before he went back to the DL?
Yeah,
Yeah. It was a hit.
yeah, it was a hit.
Thank God for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Batting 1,000 when he came back.
Yeah, on fire.
Only player that can claim that.
Okay, well, let's cool this convo down, literally. So, ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. Tons of athletes doing this right now. Everybody's partaking in it. How do you feel about this all over the internet?
I think that honestly, this was the best possible thing that any ALS organization could have done, because they haven't had this much exposure since Lou Gehrig. You know what? If there's a way to bring such viral attention towards a disease and the fundraising for its eradication, then they've done a good thing here. It's put other charities in a bit of a tough spot now, because you can't obviously replicate the ice bucket challenge for every disease that needs a cure, right? So it's going to be interesting moving forward how charitable organizations come up with new ways to become a money machine the way that ALS research has.
Yeah, I agree. It's great just to get the word out and get people involved in the cause, and it's been spread like wildfire, and that's what has to happen for anything to happen cure wise.
I think people have to start focusing more on what it's for, right? People are doing it, they end up doing it for the likes, but at the same time, they'll write a cute little message at the front, and it's like, oh yeah, I am donating. So at least something is getting done, right?
Yeah, no, I like everything about it. It's great awareness, and clearly it's working, because I think at this point they've surpassed all their donations from last year in these just up to now.
Killed it.
They're killing it right now, and people are actually donating. You're getting celebrities to start donating, so more money is coming in. You get some great videos. You get some really creative ones. You get some funny ones where people get actual bucket dumped on their head. There's some pretty good YouTube videos out there. I'm just gonna say, Brady, if you wanted to bring up the Red Sox in any way, this was probably the one to do it on, because the guy who started this is from Boston.
Oh,
But
there you go.
yeah, there you go.
Future
Fun
reference.
fact.
Yeah, but no, I think it's great, and I think some of the athletes they've done some cool things. Paul Bissonnette has the best one, yeah, no, it's just a really cool thing, and it's fun to see it succeed.
And I really like watching the 50 Cent Floyd Mayweather thing.
50% had the
pretty good,
best
yeah.
one
Yeah.
for sure.
Well, I think it'll be interesting moving forward with the Ice Bucket Challenge, see what does come out of any cure or any movement at all within the organization. I think it'll be interesting to actually watch this happen. So those are all the questions that I have for you guys today. So thanks for tuning in this week, and then we'll see you again next week. Thanks.